The unsurpassed, penetrating and perfect truth is seldom met with, even in 100,000 myriad kalpas. Now we can see and hear it. We can remember and accept it. I vow to make the Buddha's truth one with myself. Homage to the Buddha, homage to the Dharma, homage to the Sangha. Today I'd like to talk about practicing gratitude. Gratitude is something we practice. Or sometimes we feel gratitude. It comes up spontaneously because if something has happened, someone has been kind to us, things have turned out well. Just uninvited gratitude can arise. It would be pretty miserable if we didn't feel gratitude sometimes. But actually, we need to practice it too. But we can be grateful for the little things in our lives, and the big things too. Things we take for granted. Enough food, a place to live, clothing, A lot of people don't have all those things, as we know. So just to have now and then to think, I'm not really entitled to all this. I'm actually just grateful that I have these things, a comparatively comfortable life and the things we need. Our health, when we're sick and we get better, how grateful we feel for feeling a bit better and being able to get up and eat and feel like a human being again. And most of the time we don't think about it, we just run around, but then we get sick and we start to feel well. We're grateful. Our family and our friends, we're grateful that they love us and that we take care of each other and they're there. When someone is sick, whom we love, or they're in danger or something happens, then we're really grateful for them in our life. We don't take them for granted anymore. Even if we have been taking our, whoever it is, all these years, maybe a bit of a thorn in our side, suddenly something happens. Oh, I'm really grateful they're here. I'm grateful to have them in my life. I'm grateful they got better or they didn't get killed by the train or whatever it was. When someone does something kind for us or gives us something, there's gratitude. And we have a connection with that person, whether they're somebody we know and love or a complete stranger, just does us a little kindness. What that's like when just out of the blue, someone we don't know just does something kind. And we can consider, there's merit in this, and there's practice of kindness, and there's gratitude for when someone's kind to us. And sometimes we can have gratitude for when we get an opportunity to do that for somebody else. Something just arises naturally in our way, and we can just do something kind for somebody, a kind word, a kind deed, whatever it might be, even a kind thought helps. And our gratitude is also a practice. It's something we cultivate. We nourish our gratitude. Because when we cultivate gratitude, we're helping ourselves to see more clearly. Taking things for granted is a kind of clouding of our vision, because actually we can't take anything for granted. Nothing is completely ours. There's nothing that we have a complete right to, and nothing that we can say, this is mine forever, because everything changes, things come and go, people come and go. But to cultivate gratitude, we can see more clearly. We may think we have a right to this comfortable life, and we don't, but cultivating gratitude helps us to see that. Everything we have is a gift from life, from the universe, from God, however you want to call it. Everything is a gift to us. Nothing is something we have a complete right to. The air we breathe is a gift. Every breath is given to us, actually. It's nice that we can see through it and it's not polluted here. Sometimes it is. The ground we walk on, we take it for granted that it's there. Sometimes it shakes. Sometimes we fall in a hole. Everything is something that is actually given to us. And this is exactly the way it is. This is seeing with wisdom that everything we have, everything we make use of, Everything we breathe in and out, the water we drink, the food we eat, everything is actually given to us. The food we eat and the clothes we wear, we might have paid for them, we might have worked and given money for them, but actually you really can't pay for somebody else's effort and time in growing the food, getting it to us and all that. Actually, it's given to us in the real sense. We're not entitled to it. And sometimes it doesn't happen. We pay for something, we don't get it, or it's not working or whatever. But the things that we receive are actually given. The water and power systems, clean water to drink. Huge numbers of people in this world don't have that, as we know. They don't have clean water. There's many people who don't even know what clean water is, have never seen it. Can we imagine that as we take a shower? What it must be like if somebody were to see this, us just having water pouring over ourselves and going down the drain, when every drop is actually precious, something to consider. The vegetables that have given their lives for us, we don't have to feel guilty about this, we eat them, but to consider some little plant, some little carrot has given its life so that I can eat it, The fruit on the trees. The trees grow their fruit, they don't care about us, but they grew their fruit anyway, and they come to us, and we can be grateful for what these plants and trees have done for us, because we live on them. And of course we can't be thinking about this all the time, or we wouldn't be able to live our life. But now and then it's really good to contemplate. Everything we have is given to us, and to encourage our practice of gratitude. There was a former abbot of Zen Center, Steve Stuckey, who was a really nice person. I just met him once or twice. And he had this practice of gratitude. Every morning he'd get up, sit on the edge of his bed and say, gratitude. And think of all the things that he could be grateful for. And he did this for many, many years. A really wonderful practice. A deliberate cultivation of gratitude. It was a good part of his practice. When we practice gratitude, we're also practicing other virtues, because they all come together. You can't have one good thing without other things coming in your way. So when you practice gratitude, we're also practicing humility, seeing that we're not really entitled to the best of everything. Even the best is barely good enough. We're not the center of the universe. We're not the most important person in the world. We can simply be grateful for what comes our way, for what we have, that everything is given to us. Deserved or undeserved, it doesn't matter. Who's to judge about that? Not to feel like we're a worm, but just to consider, I'm just one of the people in this world, and not some special being who deserves some special treatment. I just take what comes my way with gratitude, if I can. Wisdom. There's wisdom in seeing clearly that we're actually just a part of everything else. Again, not some special separate being with some special separate needs and wants and requirements. We're just part of the universe. We all have our own life. We all breathe the same air, drink the same kind of water if we're lucky. Not special, not separate, not different from everybody else. Just part of everything and everybody. And this practice of gratitude helps us to see that we're all actually just part of this one human body. To dissolve that feeling of separation from everybody else. I'm different, I'm separate. I don't deserve it, or I do deserve it. I deserve more than everybody else, or I don't deserve anything. None of it's true. Just to accept what comes our way with gratitude. Generosity. So much is given to us that we can give in our own turn. When we know that we are given a whole lot in our life, we can then give more easily to others. We dissolve that sense of separation between me and everybody else. And the more gratitude we cultivate, the more generous we tend to be. It just comes up naturally. Generosity along with gratitude. It's an antidote to our selfishness, our resentment, our envy of other people. if I have a grudge, if I can just be grateful for what I have and not cultivate that grudge, boy, does it help. Or envying what somebody else has. Well, let's appreciate what we have. It doesn't have to be the same as somebody else or better than somebody else. Just what we have, To undermine our negative thoughts and feelings with this cultivation of gratitude for what has come our way. Letting go of our judging and critical mind by being grateful for what we have. Again, not making a judgment or, oh, it's not really good enough, oh, that person didn't treat me very well. Just seeing the best in people and in situations and not just looking for the things that aren't there, and saying, well, why isn't it like this? Just being grateful for what is there. Well, in our training, in our Buddhist practice, we're cultivating gratitude all the time. We come into the room, we bow. We come to the Buddha hall, we bow. We're grateful to the Buddha. We're grateful for this room that supports us and keeps the wind and rain out. When we receive food, we bow because we're grateful for it. We're not just taking it for granted. We recite our 5 thoughts at the beginning of a meal. We must think deeply of the ways and means by which this food has come. Consider our merit when accepting it. Not saying we don't deserve it, but just consider. Thank you. Maybe whether deserved or undeserved, I need it, so thank you. Think deeply of the ways and means. Consider our merit when accepting it. Protect ourselves from error by excluding greed, not just wolfing it all down without a thought. I try to remember them all. Never mind, we know them. They're all expressions of gratitude one way and another. Be grateful to the Buddha, grateful for the teaching. I'll come back to that. This gratitude, it helps us to open the heart, to open our heart wider. If I'm grateful, I'm letting something in, and I'm letting something out. I'm letting in the appreciation for other beings or other things or whatever has come into my life, and not shutting it out. And I'm letting out something, a kind of joy and a generosity that comes with gratitude. You can't be grateful and not feel a little bit of joy, Thank you, I think it's really nice. It really doesn't work. There is a joy and a kind of a kindness that come with the practice of gratitude. Sometimes we have a lot of suffering in our life. Everybody has hard times. Some people have a really hard time. It isn't the same all the time. Most people don't have a horrible time absolutely every minute of their life. They do have little moments of joy. We're bereaved. Somebody has died whom we dearly love. Even then, there can be little moments when actually we can have a laugh or just enjoy something and not feel we shouldn't. I shouldn't be enjoying something. The person has died. I should be miserable. They wouldn't want us to be miserable all the time. We can actually feel a little joy here and there. But how do we practice gratitude when things are really hard? It's all right when things are going well. You can be grateful. It's a practice, but still it's easier. When things are really difficult, it's not so easy. So what do? Well, we don't have to pretend everything is fine when it isn't. We don't have to pretend to be happy and smiling all the time. I'm a Buddhist, therefore I'm happy and smiling. It doesn't last for more than 5 minutes. But what we can do when things are difficult is to sit still as best we can, to do our best to sit still right in the midst of suffering, to look at it clearly, not to try to pretend it's not there, not to push it away, but just say, okay, this is what I have. And just go through it. Just see it. And not hold on to it. Not to make it our sole characteristic, Everybody has suffering. To be willing to go through something and to let it pass when it's time for it to pass. Not to keep on creating it or going through it again and again, but to let it pass through. Let ourselves pass through it. We do get through it. And to try to be grateful for what we do have, to see what we do have, without, as I said, pushing away the suffering, but to see, I do have something. I do have maybe people who love me. Maybe I still have food to eat and all this. As we can. Our friend, whom I talked about, Steve Stuckey, the former abbot of Zen Center, who made this practice of gratitude, he had pancreatic cancer, and there came a time when he could no longer do that practice. As long as he could, every day he'd say, gratitude. What do I have to be grateful for him for? And it really stood him in good stead through a lot of his illness. I didn't know him well, but I heard about him. But then there came a time when he just couldn't do it anymore. It didn't seem right to just keep saying gratitude when he was actually having a lot of pain, because pancreatic cancer is not a lot of fun. But he did the best he could, and I think that practice of gratitude, I'm sure it stood him in good stead as he came close to death. I'm certain it did. Very nice, good person. And that practice, although he couldn't do that exact practice right to the end, that practice of through many years helped him to die, I'm sure. But not everybody does that. I don't do it the way he did. But I try to remember, now and then, thank you. To remember when I'm eating, thank you for the food. I haven't earned this. It's not my right. Especially for us monks, because people provide us with what we need. Thank you. But in fact, whether we're monks or not, whether we, as I said, even if we pay for the food we eat and the things we wear, they're still given to us, as I explained. They're still given to us. They're not something, it's not really a bargain. You really cannot pay for somebody's time and effort and the love they put into their work. You really can't. But you can be grateful. When things are really hard, sometimes gratitude does arise because we're grateful for what we have left. People who've lost their house in a fire, as happened last year. Many people lost their houses. They're really grateful that their family's still alive. They may lose some of their animals. They're really grateful for one little creature crawls out of the fire, all singed, and is still alive. But they might not have had that gratitude before. But now they see, life is precious, not to be taken for granted. Every being in my life is somebody precious to me, not to be taken for granted or dismissed or despised or looked down on. Whether I like them or not, everybody is precious, actually. Every moment of our life is precious. It will never come again. And to just bear that in mind, and when something happens, like a tragedy strikes, sometimes we see that more clearly. Sometimes we can even be grateful for the hard things, relationships that have gone wrong. It's a misery. Maybe I can learn something. Will I do better next time? Can I make this into something that actually can benefit me rather than just a suffering? Illness, it can actually transform somebody's life. It can get our attention. Oh, I need to stop just trying to make money and be a successful person. I need to look within and see what's really important in my life. It happens a lot. People have some chronic illness or great pain, or something happens to them, an accident or something. They can't anymore invest in all that outer stuff in the same way. I can look and see what's really important. Again, something happens. It gets our attention. What's really important in this life. We can be grateful for that. Our suffering can bring us to the Dharma because we see that things aren't working. I need to make a change. I need to see things differently. I need to do things differently. To see things in a different way. A great gratitude for the Dharma. Reverend Master Jiyu, wonderful example of gratitude. In a very difficult situation, when she was living in Japan, in a male temple, as a female Westerner, wasn't easy. And she said, I must take that everything that happens as being for my good. Not saying this is happening because it's good for me, but I must take it for the good. Use it well, learn from it, derive benefit from it, see the good in it, and not just complain about it. And it helped her immeasurably. It turned her life around. Being willing to learn from everything and everybody. That's gratitude in difficult circumstances. And we can emulate that too. To just consider how difficulty can help us in the long run. We don't have to be happy we have it, having the difficulty or having the suffering. How can we do the best we can with it? How can we use it to the good? How can we help ourselves with that? Not trying to be perfect. Oh, everything is fine. I love my suffering. No. I have the suffering. How do I do the best I can with it? How do I accept it to the good? And see something in it that I can make use of to help me and other beings. As I said, the greatest gratitude, the gift of the Dharma, the wonderful thing, we're all here. We can all hear the Dharma and put it into practice. This is a great gift. The teaching of the Buddha that helps us to transform our suffering and learn from it. To stop blaming other people and circumstances for the things that ail us, but to see, how can I do better with this? How can I see this in a better way? How can I live more skillfully so I'm not banging my head against the wall? Learning to sit still in the midst of everything that's going on, just that, simply sitting still and not flailing, Seeing both inside and outside, just sitting still in the midst of all conditions, learning to do that. Seeing how we do make our suffering worse by blaming other people, blaming situations, dwelling in resentment. Seeing how we do that. Look what I'm doing with my mind. Do I have to do this? Maybe I can put it down. Maybe I can see my part in the thing. What did I do, Resentment and blame, seeing how we foster that and make things worse. Learning compassion for other beings who may have harmed us. And especially learning compassion for ourselves, for the mistakes we've made, the messes we've made, the suffering we've inflicted on ourselves and other beings. Not trying to be perfect and suddenly be some perfect being who never creates any more problems, but learning, how do I do better than this? Seeing with kindness, seeing ourselves with a kindly eye, as we'd wish to see other people that way, with a kindly, non-judging eye. If I can treat myself with kindness, I can treat other people with kindness. It goes both ways. Forgiving ourselves for our mistakes, seeing what we did and learning to do better. The practice of being present, right here and now. I'm so tired of hearing the word mindfulness, but actually it is a Buddhist practice. It is a really good one. Being present right now, here, in this breath, showing up for our life, is actually a practice of gratitude. Not being somewhere else, talking to somebody else on our cell phone while we're with somebody right here. I mean, it's fine to talk on our cell phone, but we don't want to make it our whole, life. To actually be with who we're with, to be here in this moment, right here, with the situation I'm in, better or worse. Not being stuck in the past, in the things that have happened to me, the things I've done, not endlessly dwelling on my mistakes or problems, but actually, here I am right now, right in this breath. Not obsessing about the future, what's going to happen. This is all easier said than done, of course. Most of our thinking is about the past or the future, either what just happened, what I did wrong, or what I could have done better, or what somebody else did to me, or about the future, how am I going to manage such and such, how am I going to do this, what's going to happen tomorrow, what shall I have for dinner, Sitting here right now in this moment is actually, it tends to be a fleeting thing that comes and goes, But to do our very best is to be here, fully present, in this body, right now, with this breath. This is our meditation practice. And it's something we can do as much as we can. Being human, we get distracted. We come back. What am I doing? What am I doing right now? There's so much bound up with the past and the future. Just to be here, right now. This is gratitude. Being here with whoever I'm with, whatever situation I'm in, no matter what it is, not wanting to be somewhere else, with somebody else, in some other situation, something that's nicer, not wanting something else. Accepting this right now, what we have right now. Maybe I'm with somebody else. Maybe I'm on my own. Maybe I'm with somebody I love and care about. Maybe I'm with somebody I don't like very much. Maybe I'm with somebody who really I can't stand. It's okay to just be grateful actually and to be present with this. Maybe I'm at ease. Maybe I'm nervous. Maybe I'm feeling well. Maybe I'm feeling awful. Maybe I feel happy. Maybe I feel miserable. And actually, maybe the sun is shining. Maybe it's raining. We don't have to worry. Just whatever is happening, wherever we are right now, this is what we have. If it's sunny, it's sunny. If it's raining, it's raining. If it's just cold and grey, it's cold and grey. But not to be wanting something else, but to be grateful for what is here right now. And again, we can't be constantly thinking, I'm grateful, I'm frozen stiff, but I'm grateful. I'm miserable, I'm starving, and I'm cross, and I'm tired, and my head hurts, but I'm grateful. But to do our best with the whole thing, but not to make it a millstone or something to bang ourselves on the head with. Be grateful, grateful, grateful. It doesn't work. But can we fundamentally just be grateful for our life and to come back to being here now and dwell at ease in this moment? How wonderful to be able to just be at ease with the difficult situation we're in. It will pass, I may feel ill, I have a headache, whatever it might be. It will pass. I'm with somebody I don't care for much. They have attributes that I could appreciate. I may not be appreciating them now, but they have. Everybody has good, To actually practice gratitude, to cultivate gratitude for all the beings in our lives. Driving on the freeway. Here you are, getting to work. Everybody else is driving on the freeway. And you can think, all these other cars are here. Why are they all here? Why can't they just get out of my way and let me get to work? But no, of course, it's not working that way. Somebody comes right in front of us, all this. Can we just say, here we are, all on this road, all going the same way, like little molecules in the bloodstream, all just traveling together. If we think of it like that, here we are all together, doing the same thing, maybe going different ways as we get there, but just traveling together, not me against everybody else. It greatly reduces our frustration, suffering, angst, irritation, all that stuff that can arise when you're driving on the freeway. I find it a wonderful practice. I don't do it all that often anymore, but just to consider in all kinds of things like that. Here we are, just living this life together, not me against everybody else, but we're all part of it together. Can I be grateful for that? Can I be grateful for these 8 billion other human beings on this planet? Really? Can I? I couldn't live without them. You've got one, you've got them all. Maybe we're just to see the blessings in all this stuff, whether it's welcome or unwelcome. There's something in there that can help us. And our real practice of gratitude is our faithful training in the way of the Buddha. That is our gratitude to the world, it's our gratitude to each other, it's our gratitude to ourselves, because it helps us, it helps other beings, it helps our world, it helps everybody. And that is our practice of gratitude. The Dharma helps with everything. It's deeply life-changing, as those of us know who've been doing it for some time. And the more we go on, the more we see that, and the deeper our gratitude will become. And that's our talk for the day. Thank you.